This is a real-life scenario in which we're working with sequences. This particular one is talking about renting a car. This is a Ferrari, and they charge a base rate plus any additional mileage. So the more miles you put on it, the more it's going to cost you because it devalues the car as you do that. Okay, so the chart below represents the total cost to rent the Ferrari, meaning the initial cost plus mileage. And it says how much would you have to pay if you drove the car 143 miles. So the very first thing that we have to determine here is if this one's an arithmetic or a geometric sequence. And the way that we determine arithmetic sequences, they have a common number that we are adding every time. And sometimes it feels like you're subtracting because you're adding a negative number, that's fine too. But if it's the same number and we're just adding or subtracting it every time, that's an arithmetic sequence. It's a geometric sequence if we're multiplying it by the same number every time. So we look at these, we have 452 to 456, there's a difference of 4 there. And then 456 to 460, that's a difference of 4, so this one is definitely an arithmetic sequence. We're adding $4 per mile, essentially, is what it boils down to. So now that we know that it's an arithmetic sequence, we bring in our formula for arithmetic sequences, and this is just kind of a generic one. A of 1 being the first number of the sequence. Unfortunately, we don't know that one. We know the 64th number of this sequence, but not the first. The difference is going to be 4. We know that because we're adding it on 4 every time. What we do know, let's see, some information we know, the 64th term of the sequence is 452. So we can use that information to find what the first term of the sequence is. So for a of n, we're going to pretend that that's 64, a of 64, and I can plug in 452 here. A of 1 we don't know, n would be our 64, and d would be 4. So here we go, 64, that became because it's the 64th term in our sequence. And this is a of n, a of 64. A of 1, we don't know, the difference is 4. So now what we're going to do is we're going to solve this one for a of 1. We're going to simplify this one and get it all on the other side. So let's do that now. 64 minus 1 would give me 63. 63 times 4 is 252, I'm sorry. Now I've got to get a of 1 all by itself, so I'm going to subtract 252 from both sides. And we find out that the first term in this sequence, in other words, if you rented the Ferrari and only drove it 1 mile, it would cost you $200. Okay, and then they give you a little bit of discount every mile that you drive after that because you pay the initial fee. Well, now that we know that a of 1 is 200, we can use this formula and plug in 200 for a of 1. So I'm going to do that now. Again, the 4 came because we know the difference is still 4. 200 is the first term of our sequence. Well, this makes it a little bit easier because now I'm looking for what it's going to cost me to drive 143 miles. So I need to find a of 143. So I'm going to plug in 143 for this n here and this n over here. Okay, so now I do this. I don't know what a of 143 is. That's what I'm trying to find out. But I did plug in 143 here because that's our 143rd term. So now I just kind of simplify what's on the right-hand side. I've got 143 minus 1 would give me 142. 142 times 4 would give me 568. So then I just simply add these two together. 568 plus 200 is 768. So if I rented this Ferrari and I drove 143 miles, it would cost me $768. Remember, when you're typing it into the online system, that you do not include labels with it all, so just 768 would suffice.